talk show is brought to you by Health Plans, your Medicare plans, insurance solutions, and resource agency. We have a variety of plans and products that fit your needs, benefit requirements, and budget, with many low or no-cost premium plans, zero co-pays, and much more. Our licensed benefits advisor's priority is your health and well-being. Call us today and book your no-obligation consultation. 1-929-367-5269.
Hello, everyone, and welcome to the Frank Williams Show. I'm your host, Frank Williams. I want to say it is a pleasure to be here with you today. Thank you so much for stopping by and watching. Today, we're going to talk about relationships. What does it take to have a loving relationship? What does it take to keep the spark in a relationship? And we have a couple more questions as well. And my guest today is a relationship coach, and she's going to help us answer those questions. And I'd like to welcome Palesa Jones. Palesa, thank you so much for being on the show.
Hi, it's a pleasure. Thank you so much for having me.
Palesa, let's start with telling the audience a little bit about yourself and how you became or how you decided to become a relationship coach.
Oh, okay. So it's kind of a long story, but I'll try to,
That's okay. We have time.
Okay. Wow. Where can I start? It's hard. It's been a journey. So let's see. Well, I think I saw a lot of people with pain. I saw a lot of people that were struggling with relationships, and I saw that something was missing.
Okay.
I saw that there is a link, the missing link between all these problems that everybody's complaining about relationships. And I knew I could fill that hole. I knew I could fill that space for people to help them with their relationships. I was called into it, and I answered the call, and this was the very right thing that I was supposed to be doing all along.
Okay, great. So let's start with, what does it take to have a loving relationship? Because relationships can be tough, and love really could be a huge risk. So what does it take to have a loving relationship?
Well, that's a good question, but I always say that, relationships are subjective.
Okay.
So it's different. It's not accurate. It's not accurate to just say that this is the one method, or this is the one way, or this is the answer, because we find ourselves through relationships.
Okay. So what would you say would be the number one important ingredient in a relationship?
I think that the most important ingredient in a relationship is to love without don't expect something from the person. Don't expect something back from them.
So you're saying not to really try and change somebody, but grow with them during their journey together, correct?
Yes.
I'd also think that communication is a huge part in any relationship, correct?
Well, communication, but my son always says people don't want to know the truth.
Well, I would think that although we may not want to know the truth, I think that makes for a more loving and stronger bond between two people. I think if it's expressed lovingly, without any anger, just comes from the heart, and you give that person the respect, I think that could go a long way as well.
Let me just say, that sounds good. But let me just say, there's a lot of things that going back to your question, the ingredient. According to, I'm a conscious dating relationship coach. So I I help singles through my program. Okay. So this program takes you through this self-discovery process, because that is the foundation. If you don't understand yourself, you cannot understand someone else.
Okay, and are there any methods where a person can become more aware of who they are?
Yeah.
And what would they be?
It depends on who you are as an individual, and it depends on who you are in the relationship, and it depends on your history, your patterns, and the level of your consciousness.
Okay, and what about the spark in a relationship? You know, in a relationship, many people that are together for many years tend to lose that spark, and they seem to drift apart. Is there any way that we can keep that spark?
First of all, you asked the question, that's the question. Is there any way we can keep that spark? So the first thing is that you have to want to keep the spark. Both people have to want to keep the spark. So that's the key to it. If nobody wants to keep the spark, but it's not that they don't want to keep the spark. They say they want something, but they don't want to commit to it, to what it takes to get it. People, I think, lack of commitment is what makes relationships not to work. It's a lack of commitment.
Yes, relationships take a lot of commitment, and I'm sure one way to keep the spark is by having a date night, maybe once a week.
I used to, when I was married, I practiced that. I came up with that. I said, although we're here, we live together, but that doesn't mean that you're spending. You see, if someone's love language is quality time, that's my love language, by the way. You asked about love languages, right?
Yes.
Earlier? Okay. So if someone's love language is, quality time, and some people take for granted once they live together, once they feel comfortable, they stop wanting, they just relax, and they don't feel the need to work at what they have. So there's that lack of commitment. And then sometimes there's this power struggles in the relationships. A lot of power struggles. Who's gonna have the power?
Okay,
would you going to have the power, or are you going to, it's like there's this power struggle. That's what I've observed in relationships too.
Right. I would tend to think that it's one spouse or partner wanting more or wanting it their way, as opposed there's always who there's this power struggle. So how do you get past this power struggle? How do you get past the ego? I would say probably through compromise and sacrifice, because it does take two people to make the relationship. And
sacrifice. Compromise is one thing, sacrifice.
Yes, sacrifice, right. Sacrifice and compromise, because we can't have everything in a relationship that we want, because it takes two people, again, to keep that loving relationship.
So first of all, there's a lot of, this is like surface talk, okay? We're not really getting into, I can't possibly tell you everything that I can offer, what I do, as like, there's so much, there's different facets of it. But this is what coaching is. This is what relationship coach, this is what I do as a coach. I fill in all those gaps. The questions that you have.
Right.
The questions that you're asking, this is what I help you to come out to understand, to
overcome.
To overcome and move forward. Therapy doesn't do that. Therapy doesn't move you forward. So therapy is not, I'm not a therapist, because some people they confuse that I'm a therapist or I'm a, I don't know, all kinds of consultant. That's not coaching, so I don't, so it's a totally different thing. But to answer your question, I think that's a very good idea in terms of the spark thing, though. I want to go back to that. I want to back up a little bit. I think the spark thing, after a long time, you can never get tired of the person. You're in control of that. You're in control of how you see somebody. It's not something controlling you. How you see somebody is you're in control of how you see somebody, and the way you see that person is the way it's going to be reflected back on you.
Okay. Let me ask you, being a relationship coach as well, I'm working with a couple who I've been working with them for a couple of months now, and they found me on my website, and these two individuals were ready to call it quits, but the boyfriend suggested that they try one more time. And I found that while I was coaching this couple, that there was a lot of anger, or he's not doing what I'm asking him to do, she's not doing what I'm asking her to do. So I've been working with it, like I said, for a few months now, and they were very open to the suggestions I've given them, because like you said, I don't give my clients the answers. I guide them to the answer that's going to work best for them. And I just the other day had the honor of being asked by them to officiate their wedding. So what does it take? I mean, in your opinion as a coach, it worked for this couple, but is it really that easy to get couples back once they've pretty much given up? Or is that something that's just unique?
No, and that's what I get. I was trained by the best relationship coaching institution. So that's what I'm in training for, to learn how it's not easy. There's nothing easy about it. So you need somebody who is trained, who is very well trained. And that's why I underwent the training that I underwent and still going, to make sure that I'm well trained because it's not easy. You ask the question if it's easy. It's not easy at all.
Right. So if a couple has pretty much given up on each other, with the couple I was coaching or am coaching, I think that's a unique experience for me, because most couples, once they've had enough, they pretty much part. They go their own separate ways, which is unfortunate, because I think, here you are, you fell in love with this person, and all of a sudden, as the years go on, you fall out of love or you drift apart. And I think a lot of that has to do with lack of communication. I think it has a lot to do with outside, circumstances getting in the way. Talking with this couple that I'm coaching, I always tell them that the problem is not them, it's the circumstances. The couple is a team, and they're working to make things better. So with two individuals that are really ready to give up, and unfortunately, the divorce rate is very high. But I'd like to think, and in your opinion, do you think it's possible that most couples, if they truly wanted to try, could get back together?
Anything is possible.
No, which is true. Yes.
So that's my answer to that.
Okay. What about disputes? How do we handle disputes?
Sometimes it depends. It depends what's going on with the dispute.
Okay.
So give me an example. Let me coach you.
Okay. Well, I'll tell you what I've done with the couple that I'm coaching. With the disputes, you never want to use anger. You never want to use insults. You really want to sit down and give each other the respect and hear each other out as to what is bothering them, and then try to come to an understanding as to how to make things better. The one thing that I suggest that they do from the very beginning was to go out and get like a ceramic heart, and to have whoever's talking, if the boyfriend's talking, he holds that heart in his hand, knowing that he doesn't want to break his girlfriend's heart.
Okay, so you just I don't mean to cut you off, but
No, that's okay.
you just got your own answer, I think, to that, which
Yes,
is,
I did. I was just wondering if there are other ways of.
when the key to it is what you said. First of all, two people have to want it.
Correct.
I can't give you anything. Even Jesus couldn't force miracles on people. They have to want it. They have to want the help. They have to want to get better, meaning they're committed. I said again, the lack of commitment, because people are not committed. So if it doesn't work, it doesn't work. Whatever. I'm not going to deal with this. And
Right.
then and then they go back again. And then the cycle repeats itself. But
Okay.
until you are committed, until the two people are committed to wanting things to change, that by itself, that alone, whether they end up parting ways or staying together, that's the defining moment. So again, people have to be willing to put their emotional health as priority. And most people don't. They'll buy 50,000 pairs of shoes over get their. So that tells you what's important to people.
Right. When it comes to disputes, another exercise that I do suggest is I call it the empty chair exercise, which is if you're very angry or if you really, want
I know about that.
Go at your partner, you just pull out an empty chair and you yell and whatever it takes.
So these are techniques. What you're saying is they need a coach. That's what you're saying. Everybody needs a coach.
Yes, everybody does need a coach. I agree. But I think the empty chair exercise can be very helpful. And I know it was very helpful for the couple.
But where would anybody ever think of that unless somebody had to tell them that?
Oh, no, which is true. And that's why we're talking about relationships, how you and I can give them advice.
So more people need coaching. They need to know the value of coaching.
Yes, they do.
If they want their relationships to thrive, to be better, to experience more in their relationships, everybody needs a coach. That's what I'm going to tell you.
Yes, I agree with you. What about some of your cases that you're working on now? What do you see going on?
It's singles, and I think I don't know. I think people have to kind of, like my son says, people don't want honest communication. They don't want truth. They want communication, but the communication people want is you telling them, like patting them in the back, like feeding their ego. They don't want truth. If you want to tell them something, maybe that they don't want to, like, they're so in their feelings. The song "In Their Feelings"? They're in their feelings. People are in their feelings. You can't tell them, you can't say anything. It's like, who are you to tell me what to do?
So most of the clients that you have right now are single. What is it that you're finding with them? Is it that they're looking for a partner, or what would it be?
They have issues dating. Singles don't know how to date. They don't know how to date. They do not know how to date.
How should one date?
How should one date? You should come with an open mind, number one. If everybody has an open mind, comes with an open mind and not prejudging, bringing, like, if you just have an open mind, like every day you have an open mind and you just let go of yesterday and start over the next, you will see that all this stuff that we're making a problem, it's really not a people. There's no problem except the problem that we make for ourselves in the relationships. That's what it is. I don't know if this makes sense to you.
No, sure it does. I would say that a lot of the concerns that couples have would be, a good part would be outside, problems such as, raising children, financial circumstances.
Okay, so the truth is, with conscious, and this is only with conscious dating, and this is what breaks relationships according to conscious dating.
Okay.
This is going to cost you. If I tell you that, it's going to cost you a lot of money. I'm not going to. No, don't mind me. I'm just.
No, that's okay.
Silly.
Okay, that's okay.
Okay, good. Requirements.
Requirements?
Keep that word in your head. That's the key.
Okay, requirements such as?
Figure out what your requirements are. Can you give me 5 of your requirements?
Not offhand, no. I actually my relationship is wonderful because of the communication that we have together.
Is that your side of the story, or is that her side of the story, or is it both sides of the story?
I believe it's both sides of the story.
How come? How do you know?
Because we're able to talk and we're able to be honest with each other.
Okay, so that's what you need?
Sure, I think you need that in any relationship.
What are those 2 requirements?
Honesty and trust. Let me ask you, if anyone in our audiences would like to reach out to you, how can they do that?
Yes. Okay. So that will be Palesa, my first name, which is PALESA JONES @yahoo.com.
And a phone number?
Phone number, that will be 973-934-0553. So you can call me there.
Okay.
And then I have a Facebook group of singles and people that that I'm kind of overseeing with regards to coaching and relationships. So I can also be found there. So you can also join that group and be a part of the movement. That's Conscious Dating Relationship Coach on Facebook. Okay, you're welcome to join. There's a lot of value in togetherness and what we're doing, building a community. So you're welcome to join. Honestly, I'm here. So you can find me easily.
Okay, no, that's great. Thank you for the information.
Thank you.
Thank you so much for being on the show. And I look forward to speaking with you in the future. And for those of you who are watching, I want to thank you so much for stopping by and watching the show. And always remember, believe in your dreams, but more importantly, believe in yourself, because that's where dreams begin. I'll see you next time.